A note from the reader. Hello everyone. First, I would just like to thank you for taking the time to listen to this book. The idea for making an audiobook for Harry Browne's classic guide to increasing personal freedom first occurred to me after I began reading it in the mid-20-teens. There's got to be an audiobook of this, I thought. But after a brief Google and Amazon search, I found there wasn't. There were a couple of podcasts discussing it and several atrocious text-to-speech versions, but no actual human reading. I couldn't be the only person who wanted an audio version. Why not record it myself? I'm not an activist type, but I still want to contribute something to the mission of liberty. And thus the journey began. It took several years and a failed attempt to complete this project. I almost gave up several times. The first was after recording the entire book, only to realize the quality was terrible. The second was when I discovered Audible had finally released their own version. What's the point in finishing it then? People can just get a professional version of the book for $22. But I'm a stubborn bastard, and the videos I had uploaded were getting views, and several people had commented asking if I was going to complete the book. It was these requests and my spite for Amazon which motivated me to push on and complete the project. I hate leaving things unfinished anyway. It will nag at me until I either do it or abandon it entirely. I've learned a lot in recording an audiobook. I'm a filmmaker by trade, so I'm familiar with editing workflows. But I had to figure out an efficient way to record and edit this project without losing my mind. One such lesson was to record a chapter and then edit it promptly and do so backwards before recording the next chapter. Patience and being consistent was another lesson I had to learn. As a creative person, I struggle with perfectionism and procrastination. I learned how to speak slower, clearer, how to breathe, and how to use my mask while speaking. I was a late talker when I was a child. I could speak, I just didn't for some reason. But once I started, I would go a mile a minute, along with mumbling and stumbling over my words. Combine this with a somewhat nasally voice, and the result was I was quite self-conscious about how I talked. All this is to say that this journey has forced me to grow, and that's a good thing. As far as the contents of Harry's book, it's amazing. I don't agree with everything Harry writes. His views are more relativistic and subjective than mine, but I can appreciate and understand his reasoning. That's something else I had to learn. You need to think for yourself. You can draw on many sources and people for wisdom, but you can't and shouldn't agree with everything they say just because they're a perceived authority. Finally, this is a passion project. I'm not getting paid by anybody. Audible may even come after me for violating my intellectual property or whatever. Well, screw them. I have the entire channel backed up on Odyssey, and if this ever gets scrubbed from YouTube, you can find it there. There will be a link in the description of each video where you can download the entire book broken up into chapters for free. If you appreciate this work and are feeling generous, you can donate some crypto if you want. My wallet ID will also be in the description of each video. Thank you again. I hope you enjoy this audiobook, learn from it, and use it to become more free in a world that seems hell-bent on keeping you in chains.